Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet?
Hey, future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you all again. I hope you're absolutely crushing it today, no matter where you're tuning in from around this amazing world of ours. Now, let me tell you what's got me excited today. We're diving deep into XRP, and trust me, you're going to want to hear this. So check this out. I just caught something absolutely fascinating from XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple just dropped a brand new banner on X, and guys, this is not a coincidence. When I saw this, I immediately thought, what are they really trying to tell us here? What's the message behind this move when it comes to Wall Street and XRP? Because let's be honest, Ripple doesn't just post random updates. Every move they make is calculated. Every banner has meaning. So what's the story here? All right, future millionaires. So there's tons of buzz and speculation swirling around this banner right now. And honestly, I've been thinking about this nonstop. Let me break down what I'm seeing here and share my take with you. First thing that jumps out, Wall Street. Now, could Ripple be hinting that Wall Street is finally ready to jump into the game? I mean, we've been waiting for this moment, right? Then you've got that bull symbol, and we all know what that represents. Either we're still riding this incredible bull run, or, and this is exciting, an even bigger bull run is heading our way. Now here's where it gets really interesting, that clock. Time is ticking, guys. Maybe Ripple's telling us the window is closing and it's time to get positioned now before we miss out. But wait, there's more. Check out that receipt showing 1,984.10 euros. Hold up, is this actually a price prediction hiding in plain sight? Here's the thing though. We honestly don't know for sure what this banner is really telling us. It could mean everything. It could mean something completely different. So I'm throwing this over to you, future millionaires. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to hear what you're thinking. This comes from Vet. The difference between Ripple XRP and the XRP ledger. Okay, future millionaires. I had to bring this up because I see this confusion everywhere in the comments. People asking me, hey, how do I buy Ripple shares? Listen, let me clear this up for you once and for all because this is super important to understand. As a retail investor like most of us watching this channel, you don't buy Ripple shares. You buy XRP, the actual cryptocurrency. Think of it this way. Ripple is the company, kind of like how Apple is a company that makes iPhones. Ripple creates software solutions like RippleNet, but XRP? That's the digital asset we're all here for. Now here's where it gets really cool. The XRP ledger is the blockchain that powers everything. But here's the key point that blows my mind every time. XRP itself isn't the blockchain. It's the native currency that runs on that blockchain. And this is exactly why I get so excited about the future. Picture this. When tokenized assets start flooding onto the XRP ledger, just imagine all that massive value flowing through the system. And guess what's moving all that value every single day? XRP. But wait, it gets even better. XRP is what we call a bridge currency. This thing can literally bridge any type of value. Stocks, bonds, real estate, you name it. Heck, it can even move good old-fashioned US dollars in its current form as fiat money. That's the power we're looking at here, guys. Paul, the 4-year cycle is now a 5-year cycle. Take a listen.
Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet? And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin, and it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4-year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4-year cycle and everything. And we've explained it. We'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation. But basically, it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt. We've talked about this. That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other real other time? It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt has pushed out the business cycle a year. The 4-year cycle this time around is a 5-year cycle. We don't know what the next one will be until we see where they all end up getting refinanced, whether it comes back to 4 because they managed to get some stuff at the long end, or whether they shorten it because everything's in the short end. We don't know yet. But this one is a 5-year cycle. And this is what it looks like. A 5.4-year sine curve. 5.4 years is the exact average weighted maturity of the debt. And it tells us the ISM should peak by 2026. We think liquidity probably peaks before that, as the rate of change of ISM changes and the rate of change of liquidity changes. Our best guess remains well into 2026, probably Q2.
So get this, future millionaires. He actually called this right before we witnessed that massive Bitcoin crash where it absolutely tanked below 93K. Now, I'll be completely honest with you guys. Part of me still thinks Bitcoin might have one final push upward left in the tank before it really comes crashing down hard. But here's the thing. I'm actually starting to lose faith that's even going to happen anymore. Why? Because everything is shifting right before our eyes. The entire narrative that we've been following for years is completely changing, and I can feel it happening in real time. You know that famous 4-year cycle everyone's been talking about forever? Well, I hate to break it to you, but I think that cycle is officially done. Finished. Over with. But here's where it gets really interesting. I don't think this applies to everything. I think it's over specifically for Bitcoin. I think it's over for Ethereum too. And here's what I believe we're about to witness instead. We're entering something completely different. Something I like to call a utility cycle. Or, if you want to get fancy, a utility run. This isn't just another pump and dump situation, guys. This is about real-world use cases, actual problem-solving technology. This is where the rubber meets the road. Stablecoin liquidity displays clear uptrend. When will Bitcoin price follow? I don't think it's going to follow that same pattern anymore. And here's why this is absolutely fascinating. Stablecoins are completely stealing the spotlight right now. And when you really think about it, this makes total sense. Remember what they've been telling us about Bitcoin for years? Sell your US dollars, buy Bitcoin. You need Bitcoin to hedge against the dollar, right? We've heard this a million times. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. Stablecoins just flipped the entire script. Because these coins are pegged directly to the US dollar, we're literally expanding dollar access to places that have never had it before. I'm talking about third world countries, remote areas, people who've been completely cut off from traditional banking. Stablecoins just opened up the entire planet to the US dollar. Can you believe that? And this is exactly why Bitcoin's losing its whole story, guys. Think about it. Bitcoin's entire narrative was built on hedging against the dollar, replacing the banks, becoming this revolutionary payment system. But let's be real here. The banks? They're not going anywhere. The US dollar? Still king. And honestly, nobody's rushing to use Bitcoin for actual payments because it's painfully slow and ridiculously expensive. The game has completely changed, and most people don't even realize it yet. Capitulation or rotation. $867 million flees Bitcoin ETFs amid dip below 100K. They even cite the XRP ETF going live. They also cite Solana ETFs and even the ETH ETFs. They're losing money as well. Future millionaires, this entire space is transforming right before our eyes. You've got mainstream media and all these big news outlets desperately trying to keep the old Bitcoin narrative alive. But guess what? That narrative is cracking more and more every single day. You can literally see it falling apart in real time. And here's what's really happening behind the scenes that they don't want you to see. Smart money is quietly starting to flow away from Bitcoin and into other alternatives. The writing is on the wall, guys. This is exactly why I'm so bullish on something that most people aren't even thinking about yet. XRP ETFs. Now I know what you're thinking. But what about Bitcoin ETFs? They're doing so well. And yeah, they are right now. but here's my bold prediction that I'm willing to put my reputation on. XRP ETFs are going to absolutely crush Bitcoin ETFs in the long run. I'm talking about performance that's going to make people's jaws drop. While everyone else is still stuck in the old way of thinking, we're going to be positioned perfectly for what's actually coming next. The smart money is already starting to figure this out, and we're getting in early. All right, future millionaires, this is getting spicy. So you know Peter Schiff, right? The famous gold bug who's always stirring things up? Well, he just dropped a bomb. He's calling out MicroStrategy's entire business model, saying it's straight up fraud and that MSTR is heading straight for bankruptcy. I mean, those are some serious fighting words right there. But here's what's really interesting. I actually think he might be onto something. And get this, Peter Schiff isn't the only one saying this stuff. Kevin O'Leary jumped on the same bandwagon and said pretty much the exact same thing. Now, here's what's got my attention. These guys aren't just randomly throwing out accusations. The timing of all this? It's not a coincidence, guys. They're saying this at this specific moment for a very strategic reason, and I have some thoughts on why. Think about it. When multiple big names start singing the same tune at the same time, you've got to ask yourself, what do they know that the rest of us might be missing? Future millionaires, there's some really concerning narratives starting to surface around Bitcoin right now. And honestly, the timing of all this is very suspicious to me. Without getting into all the details, because frankly, some of this stuff is pretty dark, there are some serious allegations and connections being made that are definitely not helping Bitcoin's image right now. And here's what I find really interesting about the timing. This negative narrative didn't just randomly appear out of nowhere. It's dropping at the exact same time that Bitcoin's price has been absolutely tanking day after day after day. Coincidence? I seriously doubt it, guys. Look, I'm starting to believe this cycle might actually be over for Bitcoin. But, and this is a big but, deep down, I still think there's a possibility of one final massive move before everything comes crashing down. Will we see 200K? Honestly, I don't think so anymore. Could we still hit 150K? There's definitely a possibility there, but I'm not betting the farm on it. The bottom line is this. The narrative is shifting in a big way. And that famous 4-year cycle everyone talks about? I think it's officially done, guys. Future millionaires. I just came across this absolutely mind-blowing statistic from JP Morgan that's going to blow you away. Check this out. In 2024, 37% of 25-year-olds are already using investment accounts. But get this, back in 2015, only 6% of 25-year-olds were investing. That's a massive shift in just 9 years. And you know what I think is happening here? People are finally waking up. They're looking around and saying, you know what? I can't keep living paycheck to paycheck forever. I need to make my money work for me. So when they've got even a little bit of cash left over, they're thinking, where can I put this to actually grow? And that's exactly why we're seeing fresh faces flooding into crypto every single day. Here's the thing, guys. Crypto is hands down the greatest opportunity you have to break free from that soul-crushing 9-to-5 grind. I'm talking about breaking away from the matrix completely. Why? Because crypto is literally the only place where you can start with just 10 or 20 bucks a week and potentially walk away with life-changing money. We're talking financial freedom territory here. Compare that to the stock market. What do you get there? Maybe a 5% move, maybe 10% if you're lucky, and that's it. Unless you're already sitting on serious cash in the stock market, you're probably not walking out a multimillionaire. But crypto? That absolutely can happen. Sure, you might get lucky in stocks here and there, but you'd have to be incredibly fortunate. With crypto, when you invest in the right cryptocurrencies, you're not even gambling anymore. You're investing in the future. The internet of value is coming whether people realize it or not. All right, future millionaires. I just got some huge news from Diana that's going to get you pumped up. Franklin Templeton's XRP ETF is officially going live tomorrow. Can you believe it? We're literally watching history unfold right before our eyes. But wait, it gets even better. Bitwise is jumping in right behind them on November 20th. This is exactly what we've been waiting for, guys. The institutional floodgates are about to open wide, and we're sitting front row to witness it all happen. Like I told you guys before, this week is going to be absolutely massive for XRP. I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to see just how much XRP these ETFs are going to be gobbling up. And here's what I'm predicting. Franklin Templeton is going to have an absolutely explosive day one. I mean, we're talking fireworks level of activity here. I think we're going to see the exact same incredible performance with all the other ETFs that follow, especially after what we witnessed with Canary. That was just insane. But get this. Diana's sharing some intel that's got me even more excited. Analysts are already saying that XRP could actually match or even beat Canary's record-breaking day one volume. And why? Here's the key. Big money, institutional investors, they love working with established heavyweight players like Franklin Templeton. They trust the big names, and honestly, I totally agree with that strategy. Think about it. Franklin Templeton is absolutely massive compared to Canary. We're talking about a financial giant with decades of experience and billions under management. When that kind of institutional power gets behind XRP, things are about to get very interesting, very fast. Future millionaires. Chad Steingraber just dropped some absolutely mind-blowing math that's going to get you pumped. He's broken down the XRP ETF situation so simply that even a 5-year-old could understand it. Listen to this. With XRP spot ETFs launching, there are literally only 2 possible scenarios. And here's the beautiful part. Both of them are incredibly bullish for us. Scenario number 1. XRP's price stays right where it is now. What happens? These ETFs are going to absolutely devour the entire circulating supply within just 12 months. Can you imagine that? The whole supply, gone. Scenario number 2. XRP's price shoots up dramatically. And when that happens, the ETFs end up buying less tokens simply because each one costs way more money. So think about this. Either these ETFs completely drain the supply, or the price explodes upward. There's literally no bearish outcome in this equation, guys. It's mathematically impossible. And you know what? I'm in total agreement with Chad on this one. I think these ETFs are going to send the price absolutely rocketing, and honestly, I believe it's going to start happening very, very soon. Quick reminder before I forget, tomorrow is the day. Franklin Templeton's ETF officially goes live, and we're about to witness history in the making. And future millionaires. Here's something that's going to absolutely blow your mind. Ripple has Tier 1 banks as partners for a very specific reason. Because XRP is going to be classified as a Tier 1 asset by Basel. You heard that correctly. XRP is about to sit alongside gold as a Tier 1 asset. Most XRP holders have absolutely no idea what's coming for this cryptocurrency, and honestly, that's probably a good thing because if they did, the price would already be through the roof. Here's what's about to happen. Once the BIS officially classifies XRP as a Tier 1 asset, it's game over. We're going to see XRP absolutely explode in price like we've never seen before. I'm talking about a literal flip of the switch moment. And get this could happen even before Basel III kicks in this January. There's a real chance we could see this by the end of this year. Can you imagine? Listen carefully. Everything moving forward is nothing but pure rocket fuel for XRP. I don't care how you slice it, dice it, or look at it. It's all bullish. Anyone thinking about selling right now? They're going to have the worst case of regret in their entire lives once this thing breaks out. And trust me, that breakout is absolutely inevitable. I'm still convinced that massive amounts of money are going to flow from Bitcoin straight into XRP. In fact, I think it's already happening behind the scenes. You're seeing Bitcoin maximalists, people who refused to even mention XRP years ago. Now they can't stop talking about it. Why the sudden change? 2 reasons. First, they're terrified that XRP is eventually going to flip Bitcoin. Second, they've got serious FOMO about missing out on something this massive. Just look at that XRP chart. It's absolutely mind-blowing. That chart alone should convince anyone to load up on this asset, because when it finally breaks out, the FOMO is going to be completely insane. Until all of this unfolds, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together, future millionaires. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. I'll catch you in the next one.